Alright, so we have a new weekend of movies, and one of the first to come up is Cold Pursuit. This is a movie directed by Hans-Peter Moland. He is remaking the movie after directing the same movie in Order of Disappearance. It's a foreign movie. And remaking it for the American audiences. So that's a little interesting. The movie stars Liam Neeson. His son is found dead after a drug overdose, only for Liam Neeson to find out that it may not have actually been a drug overdose, but a whole conspiracy involving a drug cartel in a local Denver town. And he decides to take matters into his own hands. The movie's premise is, it's every revenge movie that you've ever seen. The only difference this time is that, he's not going after someone for the murder of his wife. It happens to be their child, which I guess is a little more unique technically. It takes place in Colorado, which I really liked. It has tons of snow. The guy's a snowplow driver. And, Liam Neeson has been in probably an action movie every year, one or two a year for the last decade. And, for the most part, I usually enjoy him. He is a very fun actor to watch, no matter what he's in. And he always puts a stellar performance in. I don't really know why this movie would be, for the director, worth remaking, but I guess if the American producers were going to be remaking the movie with or without him, I guess if it were me, I'd be like, yeah, let me remake that movie because it's my movie. I'm not going to let you mess it up. I haven't seen the original, so I don't quite know to what degree the movies are similar, but I'm hoping not too similar. I hope the original movie's a little better. I didn't hate this movie. It has a lot of good moments in it. There's good cinematography at times. There is funny characters and funny moments. But for the most part, I was left confused by what tone the movie was going for exactly. And I know that sort of the idea of the movie is that it's this kind of dark thriller, but it has comedic elements, so it's a dark comedy. And I get that, but I don't think the movie really pulls it off for the most part. Especially since some of the jokes that they try to do that are meant to be dark are never that funny. Like one of the scenes is they go to the morgue to see their son who's dead. And on the table he has to be lifted up so they can see him, I guess, at eye level. And when they're lifting the body up, it kind of just goes like they're trying to take forever for it to just come up, and it's coming up on the screen like that, and they're just staring down, and I don't know what to really feel like that about, because that's the first time we've gotten anything like that in the movie. The first kind of dark joke, and I don't even know what's so funny about it. Like, yeah, oh, it's a dead body, and the morgue people are just all whatever about this, but the parents should be all torn up, even though they're not really that torn up as I think they should be, but I don't know. So the whole movie just leaves me confused when it's trying to do all these jokes. Laura Dern's in the movie. She disappears pretty much halfway through and never comes back. She doesn't do anything. Why is she there? Why did they cast Laura Dern? That was kind of weird. They have these cops in the movies, which I guess they're trying to go for the Fargo thing. Hey, we're in the winter wonderland of freezing cold, and you think everyone's just a jolly good fellow, but they're not really, because there's murder going on. And then you got the leading lady on the case, but they don't really dive into that. They keep hopping back to them as they're trying to investigate things, and the cops are fine enough. I mean, they are good actors, and they're good enough characters, but I just didn't understand why we kept coming back to them when by the end it adds to nothing. Halfway through the movie, we introduce a different cartel, which is made up of Indians from a reservation, and the movie kind of starts changing its tone by then. We start throwing in some background Native American music. There's a lot of moments with those characters, really slow moments involving lush backgrounds, and there's a scene where they're on the mountain and they're at the ski resort, and some of them are having fun while the old man's screaming because his son just died. And it's like, yeah, all this stuff is cool, but where is this coming from? When did this movie suddenly become smoke signals out of nowhere? I have nothing wrong with the Indians showing up. I mean, yeah, it's like it's nice because we don't get a lot of Native American actors in movies portrayed not as Indians from the Civil War or from back when they were fighting white people. I mean, it's nice that there's a movie where, hey, modern take on Indians, but they don't really do much with it, and I don't really understand why the movie's suddenly becoming a tribute to, like, Native Americans at times, because I'm like, why? Like, why are we doing this? This is coming out of nowhere. The movie had nothing to do with that until now. There's a scene where Liam Neeson kidnaps the child of the main drug cartel leader, which, by the way, that guy, his performance is pretty interesting. Like, I think he's comical. I think he's just cheesy enough to be enjoyable, so he's probably the best part of the movie. But Liam Neeson takes his kid, I guess, as leverage to get them out to his garage so he can kill them. But why is Liam Neeson kidnapping a kid? We never saw him sink to this level until now. I mean, I guess he was murdering people, so I guess kidnapping was not out of the question. But it just didn't seem in character for him to do. And you know, he's being nice at first, and then, you know, the kid's just liking him right away because, haha, wouldn't that be funny if that happened? Because that wouldn't happen, so it's funny then, I guess. And then at one point the kid makes a joke about Stockholm Syndrome, so he knows what's going on, but I'm like, yeah, but why? Why are we doing all this? The movie just has a very confusing tone with characters that just pop in and out of nowhere for no reason, and sometimes plot lines just go forgotten. And yeah, it's like, I think the movie was trying to be something like what the Coen brothers have done or what Quentin Tarantino's done. There's times in this movie where I'm like, it's as comical as something that the Farley brothers would have done back in the 90s. And I realize whoever made this must have just really liked 90s cinema for some reason, and they're making a whole tribute to that. Not even really a tribute, but just a lot of influence there. This could have been a lot better for what the premise was. I mean, revenge movies, while cliche, are usually, to me, pretty easy to pull off. You don't have to dig into the characters too much to make it enjoyable. You know, just show some good action scenes, have a compelling ending. But here, they didn't really do either. They didn't really have many good action scenes. They didn't really have a compelling ending. And for the most part, a lot of the stuff they were trying to do, I don't know, it's like, maybe they were trying to, like, it was like reading a journal that had a lot of incomplete moments. Maybe that's what they were going for, but for me, that doesn't really make the movie fun to watch. I think the whole movie could be summed up in the final shot. You know, we have the two last survivors, Liam Neeson and the Native American cartel leader, driving in a giant snowblower, and you know, he had a gun up to his head for the most part, but then he chose not to kill him, and they were just both, I don't know, they don't have a conversation, but I guess we're supposed to understand that, oh, both of their sons were killed by the same guy. Now that guy's dead, so it's all good. But then one of the people who were parasailing the day before, another one of the Native Americans, who I guess was flying through the air the last 24 hours, gets sucked up into the snowblower and blown out. And I'm like, oh, what? And that's how the movie ends. I'm like, is that supposed to be a joke? I mean, that's kind of a weird... I guess it's funny, but what does that mean for the two characters in the car? Or what does that mean for any of this? I think that sums up the movie pretty well for how confusing it could be. I'll give this movie 2.5 out of 5 stars. So are you excited to see Liam Neeson on the big screen again, or are you getting sick of him doing his action movies? And do you think he should have stayed true when he said, I'm retiring from action movies? Apparently not. Leave a comment, and thanks for watching.